Casemiro has stopped giving Manchester United what Erik Ten Hag signed him for. A lot of the success Man Utd enjoyed last season was based on the influence of £70 million midfielder Casemiro, but he is struggling so far this season. The Champions League has undoubtedly been kind to Casemiro, but the five-time winner of this competition won't be enjoying the 2023-24 version so far. The Brazilian had to lower himself to the Europa League last season, but the return to Europe's top table was secured in large part thanks to his £70 million move to Real Madrid. Inasmuch as a player with his CV can be, he was a revelation at Old Trafford. United had lacked a world-class holding midfielder for years, and Casemiro's arrival immediately fixed that problem. It took him a little while to break into the team, but once he was there, his presence was significant. The Carabao Cup final win against Newcastle summed up his influence in that first season. He scored that day, celebrated winning a goal kick with unrivaled passion in front of the United fans, and then spent the first few seconds after the final whistle upbraiding Bruno Fernandes for not passing in what was one of the final actions of a 2-0 win. That encapsulated so much of his game. He was a reliable midfielder, capable of snuffing out attacks and protecting the defense, as well as a player revitalized by a new challenge away from the Bernabeu. He was also someone helping to raise the standards at the club. Ten Hag had made signing leaders a key part of his first summer window, saying he wanted players with character and personality, and Casemiro fit the bill perfectly. Speaking a few weeks after he had won his first trophy as United manager, ending the club's 6-year drought, he spoke in glowing terms about the impact Casemiro had had. "I had a player in Ajax who sets those standards, but definitely Casemiro in this team. He is such a leader and so important for us," he said. Not only with his performances and skills, like scoring goals with his headers, or linking up, or intercepting balls, but his organization, his mentality, the culture he projects. "We are so happy that we signed him. I knew what a magnificent player he was. Just look at his profile, all the cups he's won, that's not a coincidence. Like Rafa Varane and Casemiro, they won 5 Champions Leagues, that's not a coincidence. For me it's always the same, you have players who win always, and players who lose and are always losing. You have to do your research and find the type who will win and who are cooperative in the dressing room, to be humble, but when on the pitch they take responsibility. You can sit on the bench and you are composed because you know the players will do the job and will deal with the situation and bring you the wins." Ten Hag is no longer sitting on the bench composed and believing the players will do the job. He had described that discussion between Casemiro and Fernandes at Wembley as the players showing that good isn't good enough. After 6 defeats in 10 games this season, they would take good right now. "There is so much going wrong this season, from injuries to off-field issues to key players losing form and tactical shortcomings, that it's impossible to pin the drop-off on any one individual, but there's no doubt Casemiro's struggles are having a significant impact." A defensive midfielder synonymous with the Champions League has found the going tough against Jamal Musiala and Kerem Aktürkoğlu this season. The 31-year-old was ponderous against Galatasaray, and his habit of collecting cards came back to haunt him, with a 3rd red card for United. He was undoubtedly played into trouble by Andre Onana for his second booking, but his attempt to stop Dries Mertens was only ever going to end in a penalty and another yellow. It was an impossible tackle to make. The sight of Aktürkoğlu running clear of Casemiro for the second equalizer had already been starting. That has been a theme of his season so far, and there has clearly been a slowing down in Casemiro's ability to read situations and get there first. Too often the opposition's attacking midfielders are being allowed to dominate games against United, and the quality of chances teams are creating is a concern and something that is reflected on Casemiro, as well as the defense and Ten Hag's tactical approach. The signing of Casemiro gave Ten Hag what he wanted a year ago. A superb defensive midfielder and another leader in the dressing room. If United are to turn their season around, they need that leader to re-emerge and to rediscover the form he showed last season.